You're welcome to today's edition of Creative Forum, where we bring you the creative insights, the thought of the week, and creative updates from the creative sphere. I am your host, Divine Onyekwana. Now, today we'll be discussing the topic creativity in addressing social issues. And you don't want to miss this. We'll be right back after this short break. You're welcome back. Now, I am thrilled to introduce our guest for today. She is a young YouTuber creating content around stammering, storytelling, and lifestyle. She's a person with a stammer who loves the camera and loves public speaking. She's passionate about creating awareness about stammering and letting the world know that it's another way of speaking. Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to introduce Miss Ezinne Egri. Ezinne, I'm so glad to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Divine. I'm so chill. Thank you. I'm honored.
All right. And like I said, we are discussing the topic creativity in addressing social issues. So, yeah, let's just get right to it. So, Ezinne, you go by the brand name Ezinne Talks.
Yes, Ezinne Talks.
Yeah, what's the story behind it? How did you come up with it?
Okay, it's actually happened in 2020, I think. I made a kind of, someone came and he videoed me and he edited it. And he was like, what name will I put on it? And I'm like, I don't know. He was just like, what is your name? Ezinne, what is all this all about? I said, Talks now. Okay, let's just put it together.
Okay.
Ezinne Talks. And it had just talk since 2020. And that was how the name came out.
Yeah, even though it's so simple, yet it has this exotic feel around it. I like it.
Thank you.
All right. So mostly you talk about your content on stammering on YouTube, and that's a very creative way of addressing the social issue. Is there what motivated you to take it?
I feel that it's a very wide space. Like that everyone watches YouTube, everyone loves YouTube, and like YouTube is a world of its own. Okay. So I actually love YouTube, and I've actually seen a lot of other things on YouTube, aside stammering in Africa or in Nigeria. So I was like, yes, that this place is a good place to put out content as this, and and it's reach the world. Really. Okay. Yeah, so I choose YouTube more. And other platforms, but more, like I'm big on YouTube. I love YouTube more. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, and so far, how has it been for you? Is it fulfilling? What's the progress like?
Okay, yes, like it has been fulfilling in my own understanding of what it should be. Because what stammering is about, it is not about blowing for me, but it's about knowing that I am talking, and there are people who are are hearing me, and they're also listening, and they're trying to pick out points. And it's also about people knowing that, okay, we actually have someone like us who is trying to build something as this. So I can, even with my stammering, wherever you are, do whatsoever kind of thing that you want to do, because they'll be like, yes, I actually know someone who is doing something and she speaks how I speak. Yeah. So like I actually feel very, very powerful in a kind of way when I'm on my channel, or when I see people reach out to me, maybe through my emails, and say, wow, I actually love what you're doing. You inspire me, and I'm like, me, okay, then I'm doing it more and more. Yes. So I feel very, empowered. Okay. Yes, I do.
Yeah, speaking of empowerment, how long do you intend to run your channel for? What's your long-term goal for it to continue the empowerment?
I don't think I would ever stop.
Okay.
I actually know people who were stammering from childhood, and as at a stage, and they stopped stammering. For someone as I am, I doubt if I'll ever stop stammering. So because I don't even hope to stop stammering.
Okay.
I actually think of my stammering as a part of me, like it is my own, identity.
Like a trademark.
Yes, I actually love how when I speak in a place, somebody isn't around. I heard Ezinne's voice so much. So yes, so I actually plan to run this channel for how long that I would live. And what I love about YouTube also is it is always there. It is why I say that it is a world of its own. So even when I have lived a good life, very old, and I pass on to the other side, it is always there for people to see. So what I plan doing is to improve, not to stop. I kicked off as a student, and I showed, this small thing, you know, as a student that could show. Now we are about, you know, going out. Of course, we'll actually live life, you know. When we start going, you know, around the world, I'll still show them how someone who stammers, you know, is actually going out to meet people from around the world, you know, talk to them. When I get married and when I start, you know, giving birth to children, I also, you know, show people how someone with a stammer, you know, can actually raise children who might be children with a stammer or not, because it is like gamble, you know. Yes, I can't actually pinpoint that when I give birth to a child that they must stammer, because I have siblings who stammer, but their children do not stammer.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so like it is a long time thing. It is not ending. It is not ending.
That's amazing. If there's something I picked out, is how you've been able to turn, you know, you being a person with a stammer to something that differentiates you, that stands you out, and you're able to own it.
Yes.
That's
exactly,
beautiful.
yes.
That's beautiful. Okay, on that, is there any other way that you preach or, you know, create awareness about stammering apart from it being online? Is there a way you do it offline?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I actually do it offline. See, I actually think it kicks off from my house. Because I have a mom who do not stammer. And my dad, while he was alive, he did not stammer.
Oh.
Yes, he didn't. But I and my 5 siblings, we all do stammer. You know, like all of us, we all do stammer.
Okay.
And we are very okay with all of us, you know, like we all stammer, it's okay for us. But when we actually move out, okay, let me say for myself, when I move out of my family, it is not how it is.
Yeah.
You know, I actually grew up with friends in Abuja who do not stammer, so I am always the white sheep and the others black.
Yeah, twisted.
So like I am always the white sheep and others black. So I felt very insecure while growing up. Like I felt very insecure. It was not until 2020 again that I said, it is obvious that this stammering won't stop. I prayed about, you know, healing. Look, I am a Christian by everything. So I actually prayed to stop stammering. Like I worked on it, and you know, I lived with my grandmother for maybe 3 years, and she would advise me that I should speak slowly, that I am a woman, that men won't want to marry a woman who stammers. So I actually tried all the techniques that I could try. It was not until 2020 I was like, babe, this stammering, we are now best friends. So instead of fighting, let me live with it. And till date, one of the worst insults you can actually give to yourself, not me, is to try to tell me that I stammer. I actually love how I speak right now. And I actually tell people around me, okay, in 2021, I was in OKTT for my CP, right? Yes, and in my class, in a JSO class, I had a student who also stammers like I do. And it was a reading class, like we were reading a prose. And he read and he was stammering. So I was reading, I was in front of the class, and he broke like 2 times. And I looked at him, and in my mind I was like, wow, he's my gang. So I was like, go on. So it was not after reading, because he actually felt shy. Like the class, it kind of, you know, laughed at him. So after he finished reading, I said, wow, I loved you. No, I told him I love you. And the class looked at me. And I asked them, do you know why? They raised hand. It's because he stammers and you also stammer. I told them, good. So I actually tried to, you know, to reach out to people, even if it's not online, offline, because I've seen people who stammer. Like, we are a lot.
Yeah.
We are a lot. So, you know, I actually try to make people understand that, you know, it is okay to actually stammer. Like, it is okay, because we can't all speak fluently, and it is okay. Like, we can actually break how we break, and we can fit in, you know, in our own space. So I do this online and offline. Yes, I do.
That is so beautiful. She said it's okay to stammer and you can fit in your own space.
Yes.
Wow. We'll be going for a short break right now. We have a lot more for you when we return. Don't go anywhere. We're back. We are still discussing the topic creativity in addressing social issues, and we're here with Ezinne Talks. So Ezinne, so far, running your channel, what are the challenges are there challenges you've encountered? And
of course,
okay,
yes,
tell me about them.
Yeah. Okay, firstly is that people don't actually understand what it is that I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I've actually heard people say, okay, then what is your channel all about? Just showing people that you stammer, and I'm like, is that not enough? Showing people who maybe talk like I do, or have people who do, just to show them, okay, look at someone like you. Like it would actually make you feel not left alone in the world, because I actually grew up outside of my home. I thought I was left alone, maybe in school, because I didn't see kids who talk like I do, but in my house, I always felt it is us,
Yes.
all of us in this house break, so it is us breaking. So like I feel that people don't really know what it is that I am doing, and for most people also who create content, they'll actually tell you that it is finances, and it is true, but I just made sure that I didn't let finances make me not achieve what it says I want to achieve, because you actually want camera, for example, and when you get a camera, you would feel you are okay, but in the next 2 months you say no, drone. Then from drone, like you want so many things.
Yes.
So when I was about to start, I just kicked off with my phone, an Android phone. In short, I was in my friend's car, and I asked him out of his car, and I went down and I placed my phone on his dashboard, and I made my first ever video.
Wow.
I just kicked off that way. So you always have challenges and all that, like people not understanding what it is that you're about to do, and also people not supporting what you're doing. I actually went on YouTube and I checked, and I found out that on the Nigeria YouTube space, I am the only one who's actually doing what it is now that I am doing.
Wow.
So like anything about STEM, like I've actually checked if I can actually see someone who is doing what I'm doing on YouTube. Like, so like, what am I even saying? Like I've not really seen any African who is really talking about stamina or something, and this thing is a real life issue. I see this on my channel, but like it is not factual, maybe by books, but in Anambra I found out that we have at least one person in every woman, like in every kindred, and people don't talk about stammering, like just wave everything out, but it is in our faces. Like we actually see people who do, like I meet people who stammer every day, like new people. Whenever I go out, I meet them. I might just hear someone who stammers, and I'll be like, wow, onyotu. My mind, I'll be like onyotu, and that. So yes, so it is a challenge, but of course we would soon pass over all that.
Yes. And speaking of which, this is getting actually more interesting. Speaking of which, as a person with experience and knowledge on stammering and stuttering, that surround people with stammers, and if possible, set the facts straight.
I'll fight. I'll fight, obviously. Okay, it is a lot. Let me start from the most, known, like, let us go from the known
to the unknown.
No, people actually say that people who stammer, they are very, very hot-tempered. I don't know where that fact came out from, but I always say this, that don't make people angry. If you make people angry, they will get angry, even if they stammer or not. Like it is factual. Then what happens to people as us is, when we are angry and you are talking, I'm angry, you're angry. You actually speak, very fluently, you can actually, you know, say things even while you are angry. But me, on the other hand, I cannot. So like you actually see that I'll get more angry than you are. But why I am angry, it is, you know, the outcome of an event, not because I stammer.
Yes.
Why I am angry is someone did something that made me angry, not just because I am someone with a stammer and I am angry. No, it does not work that way. So people who stammer, we are not hot-tempered. But if you make us angry, we should get angry. Like it is normal to get angry. Then another thing is people actually see people who stammer as people who are not so intelligent or something. So when you actually think of such things, I would love to show you of my school result from childhood till now. Then I would also love to have a kind of convo with you, so you actually understand that what you're thinking is not true. Now, do you actually find out that when people, even people who don't stammer, when they are talking and for some reason, maybe they are anxious or they are nervous or something, and people actually think that they are about to lie or some, yes, like, you know, like it goes on that way. I have someone who is always in my mind. It was in a primary 3. I was close to her. We were very close. So one morning she just came to school and didn't talk to me anymore. And she's the queen of the class. So she actually told the other girls, and everyone just turned against me. And I was shocked. So something happened. One of the girls in her group then came over and told me that Irene's mother told her that whoever breaks is a liar. That what we actually break is because we are trying to think out a lie.
Wow.
So it is why we break. I can't tell how that thing broke me. Like even up to now, sometimes I just think about it, and I just think, what if my child goes to school and someone tells her or him, you know, it's something like this. But I'm like, anyway, that it will happen because your mom is Ezine Talks, and Ezine Talks already know things about this. So you see that there are things that people actually think about people who stammers, you know, and it is not how people think it is. So it is actually why I am trying to create this awareness, so I can actually reach that because I just think it is born out of ignorance.
Yes.
So just ignorance.
Wow, thank you for that enlightenment. And so if we would ask you, like, can you tell us some of the social media platforms where people can reach out to you, connect to you and see your works?
Okay, fine. I actually think where I would ask people to go first for me is on my YouTube channel, Ezine Talks. Now, why I would say YouTube is because YouTube, you would see it in a video form, and also I've actually had you know, sections with my Adane. Yes, as in with my eldest sister, and she also stammers. You know. I've also had a section with my immediate elder sister, and she also stammers. And you know, like we are very open about it in our house. You know, like in our house, we are open about everything, like our age, our name. If you just ask anything, we are just wow. See your answer. So yes, so and also I've also had the privilege to have sections with people on the other side of the world. Sometime in, is it April? Isn't it? Is it April? Maybe April or so. I had a kind of section about stammering with an Irish. It is also on my channel, and she told me how it is for her over there in Ireland. And also, I've had a podcast with someone also who stammers. She's an Australian, an Indian Australian. And also, I've had a section lastly with an American speech therapist. Like what she actually do is to work with kids who stammer. So I asked her how it is, like how those children feel, and what is their plan. Like when a kid come to her, like what is her plan? Did you actually plan to stop them from stammering, or just to make them feel comfortable about how they speak, so we actually have a kind of convo. So I would say YouTube first, then the other is my page on Facebook, because I actually type a lot, like I actually write a lot of things, maybe what's it called, my day activity, you know, how things are going. Maybe I'm in a bus and I speak and someone is turns and asks me in essence, and I feel like say ahead and so what. So I actually, you know, sometimes I just write all those things down on my page on Facebook, and also on Instagram.
What's your page on Facebook called?
Yes, Ezinne Talks. On all platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, I am Ezinne Talks. Yes.
Okay. And so finally, any word to people who stutter and even those who don't stammer?
Yes, actually. Whenever I give out a message, I love to give it out to people who stammer and people who do not. Like on the 22nd of October is the the International Awareness Creation Day for people who stammer. Yeah. So I actually put out a very short video, and it was actually addressed to people who do not stammer. Yes, because I feel if you know more, you actually do less, like do less harm when you know more. So for people who do not stammer, how we talk is a dope way, you know, of speaking. You know, like there's nothing wrong with it. Just think of stammering as another spice. If you are about to make soup and you add only salt in the pot, it will actually come out as trash. But when you're adding salt and you're adding ogiri and you're adding oil, you know, when you're adding different things to it, you know, it will actually spice things up. And also stammering, it is not the only speech this thing we have. Speech what is it called?
Impediment.
Yes, speech impediments we have. We actually have others. So like many. I've actually searched and I was like, wow. So we actually have others. So just know as a person who do not stammer that stammering is a dope way of speaking and it is okay. And Ezinne Talks said so. Then for people who stammer, it is us. No, like as in Anambra, we always say nkabunkai. So like this stammering is our own. It is you. Firstly, just appreciate yourself first. And know that when you do anything, you actually do that in a different way. And it will help you to stand out. If I own, if I was a person who do not stammer, and I own a channel, and I'm talking how every other content creator, you know, talk, it would be the same thing, maybe with different voice. But just because when the other person is like, you know, going smoothly, me, I am going in this way, it will be obvious somebody. Yes. So like you are beautiful how you are, we are beautiful how we are, and it is okay to be someone with a stammer.
Okay, all right. I am so inspired. I am so uplifted. I'm jealous of people with a stammer. And like Ezinne Talks said, stammering is a dope way of speaking, yes. And she said so, period. So. All right. Thank you so much, Ezinne, for being here, for the beautiful words.
I'm so honored. Thank you, EBS. Thank you.
All right. And with that, we wrap up the Creative Insight. And coming up right now for you is the Thought of the Week. And this is still the Creative Forum, where we bring you creative updates from the creative sphere. Now for the creative updates. Girls Write the World is a literary journal inviting young identified female writers and artists ages 14 to 21 to submit their works as they accept poetry, prose, and visual art of any style or theme. Send it to girlswritetheworld@gmail.com. Likewise, Flash Fiction Online is open to receive entries from the genres speculative and literary fiction. Speculative fiction here entails science fiction, horror, and fantasy. Payment for each accepted work is at $80. We have come to the end of today's segment. Thank you for joining us. Till next time, I am your host, Divine Onyekwana.